On average, 50 to 70% of a company's total costs are procurement related, but under 5% of founders have previous experience in that area. Hi, I'm Ian, co-founder of Focus 15, and today I want to give you the keys to good procurement. Too often people think about procurement as being about the cheapest option. Why pay more if you don't have to? But price is only part of the story. What about quality, reliability, lead time, service levels? Saving 10% up front, is pointless if late deliveries cost you customers or damage your reputation. The reality is 60 to 70% of procurement failures come not from price, but from poor supplier relationships. So, there's a difference. To start off with, there's a difference between procurement and buying. If it's transactional, price focused, short term, that is buying. That's fine for commodities, low value items like stationery, for example. Procurement, on the other hand, is strategic. It's about creating mutual benefit. For you, it involves reliable supply, consistent quality, predictable and attractive costs. For your suppliers, it's about fair margins, clarity and long-term commitment. It should be a win-win where both sides walk away happy. So start by determining what you need to buy and what you need to procure. For a lot of companies, especially where seasonality impacts prices, they create a procurement calendar, so they've got a clear visibility on what they need to do and when. They write clear specifications outlining exactly what they want, not just product details but also payment terms, delivery and service requirements, what's non-negotiable versus flexible. Clarity is really important when it comes to comparing quotes. You've got to compare like for like. So share your spec with a few qualified suppliers to get competitive bids, evaluate them, narrow them down, and then start discussions with a few suppliers about how your relationship might evolve. Can they help you innovate, for example, or add value? Research shows that companies with strong supplier collaboration can achieve 20 to 30% higher innovation rates. Can they work more closely with you to drive process efficiency and to reduce costs? Now, I appreciate for startups this can be a lot more difficult, especially around the value add stuff, because the truth is you're likely to be really small and relatively low value and insignificant for the supplier. So you have to try to sell the vision. You have to help them see what it could be like in future. With their support, what could you do together? Then identify your best option. Not just the lowest price, but the best overall value, taking everything into account. Now, there are a few things to avoid. Yes, you want the best value, but don't run endless race to the bottom negotiations, because they'll just create resentment and kill trust. I once helped a global brand introduce a procurement process into logistics. The first year was a real success. Good price savings, genuine commitment from suppliers to find efficiencies, in the belief that it was the start of a long-term relationship. Unfortunately, the success went to the leadership's heads. They thought it was repeatable. They wanted it every year. So they got into a cycle of running tenders way too frequently and changing suppliers, and before long, they were struggling to get suppliers to participate. Secondly, don't be dazzled by spot prices. More often than not, you will find that someone is prepared to undercut your existing suppliers to get a foot in the door. But flipping from one supplier to another has real long-term consequences. I remember a senior employee coming into a business I worked with a while ago. He really wanted to make a good impression early on, so he phoned a few suppliers for a high-spend ingredient. He got spot quotes that were 5 to 10% lower than the business was currently paying. So he went in to see the managing director, and he, thinking he'd made a real sort of discovery. The managing director was under real pressure to deliver the year, and a change was made. A few months later, post-harvest, the spot prices were 20% higher. All the gains were wiped out and more. And thirdly, don't ignore the relationships once the contract is signed. That's just the beginning. Contract signing is just the beginning of it. The mindset should always be about making the contract so successful that neither party will ever want to go through another procurement process again. If you get it right, procurement can be one of the strongest levers to help your business grow. Thanks for watching. If you found this useful, hit subscribe, drop a comment, or get in touch at focus15.co.uk. In the meantime, stay focused, and we'll see you in the next one.